BMW engines, they're the heart of the ultimate driving machine, but not all hearts beat with the same reliability. Today we're counting down the 3 worst and 4 best BMW engines ever made. These aren't just opinions, they come from analyzing repair records, owner complaints, and maintenance costs to bring you the definitive list of which BMW engines to seek out and which ones to avoid at all costs. Some of these might be sitting in your neighbor's driveway right now, silently waiting to break down. Others might be tempting you with their rock-bottom used prices. Trust me, there's a reason they're so cheap. But here's the good news, there are some absolute gems in BMW's lineup. Engines so bulletproof they'll outlast the rest of the car, delivering that signature BMW performance without emptying your wallet. Let's start with the engines you should avoid, like a bad transmission. These are the 3 worst BMW engines to own. Number 3. The N20 4-cylinder turbo engine sounds great on paper. More power, better fuel economy than the straight 6 it replaced. But in reality, it's a ticking time bomb. This 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder powered everything from the 328i and 528i to the X3 and Z4. BMW was so proud of this little engine, touting its 241 horsepower while delivering up to 36 miles per gallon on the highway. But here's what BMW didn't advertise, the timing chain issue that's destroyed thousands of these engines. The timing chain guides and tensioners were made from plastic that degrades prematurely. When they fail, the timing chain jumps, valves hit pistons, and suddenly you're looking at a $7,000 engine replacement. And this isn't a rare problem. It's so common that BMW faced a class action lawsuit over it. What makes this particularly nasty is that there's often no warning. You could be cruising down the highway at 70 miles per hour when suddenly your engine grenades itself. One minute you're enjoying your ultimate driving machine, the next you're on the side of the road calling a tow truck. Even if you dodge the timing chain bullet, these engines suffer from oil consumption issues that would make a 1970s Chevy blush. Many owners report adding a quart every 1,000 miles. That's not normal, folks. If you're looking at a 2011-2017 BMW with the N20 engine, just walk away. It's not worth the headache or the repair bills. Number 2. The N62 V8 is what I call the money pit with a beautiful voice. This 4.4-liter V8 powered the 745i, X5 4.4i, and other luxury models, delivering a silky smooth 325 horsepower and a soundtrack that could make grown men weep. But that beautiful sound quickly turns to sobbing when you get your first repair bill. The N62's signature problem? Valve stem seals that fail like clockwork around 60,000 miles. When they go, your BMW starts burning oil faster than a California wildfire. You'll see blue smoke on startup and acceleration, and you'll be adding a quart of oil every 500 miles. Fixing those valve stem seals, that's a $4,000 to $7,000 job because the entire engine has to come out. And that's just the beginning of your troubles. The coolant transfer pipes, made of plastic and buried inside the V of the engine, crack and leak coolant internally. The alternator bracket gaskets leak oil directly onto the alternator, causing electrical problems. The vacuum system develops leaks that trigger all sorts of warning lights on your dash. But the crown jewel of N62 problems is the infamous coolant pipe that requires removing the entire front of the car to access. BMW techs call this the kidney donation repair because of what it costs. I've seen owners spend more on repairs in a single year than the car is worth. One customer put $12,000 into his 2004 745i in just 18 months before finally throwing in the towel. If you see a used 7 Series or X5 with this engine selling for suspiciously cheap, now you know why. That $7,000 luxury car will cost you another $10,000 in repairs within the first 2 years. Number 1. This one hurts to include because the S65 V8 from the E92 M3 is one of the greatest engines ever made when it works. This high-revving 4-liter naturally aspirated V8 makes 414 horsepower and screams to an 8,400 RPM redline. It's automotive nirvana. Until the rod bearings fail and destroy the entire engine. The S65's rod bearings were underspecified from the factory, creating insufficient oil clearance that leads to premature bearing wear. When they fail, the connecting rods punch through the engine block like the Kool-Aid Man through a wall. What makes this particularly heartbreaking is that it's such an expensive engine to replace. We're talking $15,000 to $20,000 for a new one. And the failure can happen anywhere from 30,000 to 80,000 miles with little warning. The throttle actuators are another common failure point, causing rough idle limp mode and check engine lights. Replacing all 8 coils and plugs, that'll be $1,200, please. Yes, you can prevent some of these issues with religious maintenance and preventative rod bearing replacement, about $3,000 every 50,000 miles, but that's a lot of money to spend on what should be a reliable engine. The S65 is the automotive equivalent of dating a supermodel with a gambling addiction. It's exhilarating, beautiful, and will absolutely ruin you financially. Now that we've covered the heartbreakers, let's move on to the engines that prove BMW can build reliable power plants when they want to. These are the 4 best BMW engines to own. Number 4. The S54 straight 6 from the E46 M3 is what happens when German engineers are allowed to build an engine right without bean counters cutting corners. This 3.2-liter naturally aspirated inline-6 makes 333 horsepower and revs to 8,000 RPM with a sound that's become legendary among BMW enthusiasts. But unlike its high-strung V8 successor, the S54 can actually go the distance. With proper maintenance, these engines regularly surpass 150,000 miles without major issues. We've seen several examples with over 200,000 miles that still pull hard and don't burn oil. Yes, there are a few known issues. The rod bearings should be replaced preventatively around 100,000 miles, a much more reasonable interval than the S65, and the Vanos system can develop rattles that need attention. But here's the difference. When problems do arise on the S54, they're generally predictable, detectable before catastrophic failure, and relatively affordable to fix compared to later M engines. The S54 also responds exceptionally well to maintenance. Give it fresh oil every 5,000 miles, keep the cooling system in good shape, and it will reward you with years of thrilling performance. This engine represents the sweet spot of BMW M Power. Complex enough to deliver exceptional performance, but simple enough to be genuinely durable. It's the last of the naturally aspirated M engines that didn't require a second mortgage to maintain. Number 3. I know what you're thinking. Didn't you just spend the whole video telling us to avoid V8s and V10s? Yes, but the S85 V10 from the E60 M5 and E63 M6 is the exception that proves the rule. This 5-liter naturally aspirated V10 makes 500 horsepower and revs to 8,250 RPM. It's essentially a Formula 1 engine for the street, and it sounds like nothing else on the road. Now, I won't lie to you, the S85 does have its issues. The rod bearings should be replaced preventatively, just like the S65, and the throttle actuators can fail. The Vanos system needs attention eventually, and it drinks fuel like a college freshman at his first party. But here's why it makes the best list. It's one of the most special engines ever put in a production car, and with proper preventative maintenance, it can actually be reasonably reliable. The key difference between this and the S65 is that the S85's issues are well documented and preventable. Spend $3,000 on rod bearings at 60,000 miles, keep up with oil changes using the right oil, and these engines can go 150,000 plus miles. An owner with an E60 M5 reported that he crossed 180,000 miles on the original engine. He's religious about maintenance and drives it like he stole it every day. The car has never left him stranded. The S85 is the last of a dying breed, a purpose-built, high-revving, naturally aspirated engine with no turbos, no hybrid assistance, just pure mechanical excellence. They'll never make engines like this again, which is why despite its maintenance costs, it deserves a spot on the best list. Number 2. The N52 is what happens when BMW gets everything right. This 3-liter naturally aspirated inline-6 powered everything from the E9330i and E6530i to the X3 and Z4, delivering 255 horsepower depending on the application. What makes the N52 special is its perfect balance of technology and reliability. It was one of the first engines to use a magnesium aluminum composite block, making it incredibly lightweight. It featured BMW's Valvetronic variable valve lift system and double Vanos variable valve timing. Yet despite all this technology, the N52 is shockingly reliable. These engines regularly go 200,000 plus miles with just basic maintenance. Oil leaks are minimal, cooling systems last longer than previous generations, and major failures are rare. The most common issues are simple and affordable to fix. The valve cover gasket might seep oil around 80,000 miles, and the eccentric shaft sensor can fail, causing rough running. Both are inexpensive fixes. What's truly impressive is how the N52 drives. It's smooth, responsive, and delivers that signature inline-6 sound that BMW is famous for. It's the perfect daily driver engine. Enough power to be fun, but not so much that it's constantly breaking things. If you're looking for a used BMW that won't bankrupt you, finding one with the N52 engine is your best bet. It's the last of BMW's naturally aspirated 6 cylinders, and many consider it the perfect blend of the old-school BMW reliability with modern performance. Number 1. The king of BMW reliability is the M54 straight 6. This 3-liter naturally aspirated inline 6 powered the E46 330i, E39 530i, and early X5s, producing a respectable 225 horsepower. What makes the M54 special isn't cutting-edge technology or massive power. It's the fact that these engines simply refuse to die. I've personally seen multiple examples with over 250,000 miles on the original engine, still running strong with good compression and minimal oil consumption. The M54 represents the perfect balance point in BMW's engineering history. Sophisticated enough to deliver smooth power and good efficiency, but simple enough to be truly durable. It doesn't have direct injection to clog, turbos to fail, or complex valve control systems to malfunction. Yes, these engines do have a few common issues. The cooling system should be preventatively replaced every 80,000 miles, and the valve cover gasket will eventually leak. The CCV crankcase ventilation system is a known weak point that can cause rough running when it fails. The DISA valve can also break, causing a rattling noise and reduced performance. But here's the difference. When things do go wrong on the M54, repairs are generally straightforward and affordable. Most shade tree mechanics can handle M54 repairs in their garage with basic tools. The M54 B30 is the last of the overbuilt BMW engines, designed with generous tolerances and robust components. It's the engine I recommend to anyone looking for their first BMW who doesn't want to be stranded on the side of the road. If you find a well-maintained E46 330i or E39 530i with the M54 B30 engine, buy it. These cars deliver 90% of the BMW experience at 10% of the maintenance headaches of newer models. Let's briefly recap. Avoid these 3 BMW engines if possible. N20 B20, the ticking time bomb. Timing chain failures and high oil consumption. N62 B44, the money pit with a beautiful voice. Valve stem seals failures, coolant pipes, vacuum leaks, and alternator issues. S65 B40, automotive heartbreaker. Rod bearings, throttle actuator failures. Explore these 4 standout BMW choices. S54 B32, motorsport DNA with reliability. 200,000 plus miles with proper care aided by predictable and affordable maintenance. S85 B50, Formula 1 for the street. Issues are preventable, the last of a dying breed. N52 B30, technology meets reliability. The last great naturally aspirated engine, minor issues, easy fixes. M54 B30, the king of BMW reliability. The last overbuilt BMW engine with simple and affordable maintenance. Remember, the key to any BMW ownership experience is maintenance. Even the best engines on this list will fail if neglected, and even the worst can be somewhat tamed with religious preventative care. If you're shopping for a used BMW, spend the money on a pre-purchase inspection by a specialist who knows these engines. That $200 inspection could save you thousands in repair bills down the road. If you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe and like button for more BMW content. This is Tom from Seats and Wheels. Thanks for watching.